watched the Red Table Talk just like you guys, and I just want to recap it a little bit on a spiritual level. Because just like that married couple, we've all been in a relationship with someone, and we may have seen certain signs and indicators that may have not looked like flags, but they in fact were flags. I like that they decided to now clear the air, but they're doing it together. Still at the expense of being vulnerable and putting themselves out there. I honestly don't feel like Jada was living in her true empathic light of truth. And I think that may be at the expense of protecting somebody else's energy. I think she is now being more thoughtful in that experience, but still not being as empathetic as she really could be. Just like with our relationships, we will experience communication issues, infidelities. I mean, it's life. Nobody is perfect. We're all going to be subjected to the hardships that come with loving somebody outside of yourself. It's going to happen. But I also know that sometimes when we get into relationships, we want to keep everything a secret because we don't want anybody to know that we're going through these things. Like, these things are really happening. Because although they say it's years ago, well, it was also years ago in the public eye too. But if you don't come out and say something, then the world will continue to say everything for you. And here you have it, fast forward, boom, the Red Table Talk, and she has to bring herself to the table. I know on my own personal journey, I had to continue to grow and develop and rebuild myself before I can even be a life coach to the world. So because I needed to work on the truth and becoming more vulnerable to express those truths was something personally that needed to happen. I learned that you can't fix other people until you fix yourself. So it's kind of like one of those things like, hey sis, you sitting here having these red table talks, but you ain't worked through those issues. Put them on the table first, which is hard, but it's easier to fix what's going on the outside before you fix what's going on the inside, if that makes sense. And as a person in the energy field, a therapist, a social worker, a teacher, a doctor, many other helping professions get wrapped up on helping people, and your boundaries can become mixed and you get entangled with the wrong vibe. So when Jada and Will were going through those things, August, because he ain't getting no nickname. His name is August. When you give somebody a nickname, you still got an emotional connection to them. His name is August. August became a victim in the triangle. So Will and Jada can have their own marriage issues in their own rights, in their own regards. But until they legally separate, Jada is no longer his wife, then August has no rights to express any type of love, infatuation, obsession towards Jada. Like, those are boundaries that must never be crossed. When those boundaries were crossed, he felt like because Will Smith is not coming out and saying all of these things, then yeah, it's a go. Again, that goes back into the mental illness spectrum of Jada Pickett at the time and August at the time. So if you have two people who are mentally unstable coming together, they will believe anything that their mind tells them to believe in. The part of the story when Will was like, I feel like I'm that spouse coming with you at the press conference when you mention your transgressions. And she doesn't feel like that they're transgressions. She feels like she took an L and made it a lesson. Well, he feels like it's a stain. Although there's no baby to be present, metaphorically, everything being in the public eye is a baby. It's something that will continue to live on as a part of their legacy, which kind of hurts. Which, again, brings back the embarrassment that people have after being cheated on. We all feel embarrassed. We're like, well, what did I do to deserve this? Like, I told you to go work on yourself. I did not tell you to go work with him. That ain't part of it. So I think that I saw embarrassment and hurt in his eyes, and I completely understand it. And I love the fact that they highlighted that they are now at a deeper level of understanding and love, and in love after being in a fire. I can relate completely, totally. My story ain't perfect either. So I understand that. And I understand when they say, but I wish I didn't have to go through this to get that type of love, which is real. I also saw that when Jada would talk about Tupac, her light would come on. And it's very much the same way. If you hear my husband speak my name, you're going to see a light shift. I saw when she mentioned August's name, it was more like, I didn't mean to do that. Like, he was supposed to be my friend in the same way like Tupac was supposed to be my friend, but I crossed them lines and I didn't mean to do that. So now, dang, like, maybe she doesn't fully forgive herself, because if you can forgive yourself for what you did, then you'll continue to talk about it. Even if it makes you look like a bad person, when you right your wrong, then if other people continue to judge you for it, then so well, that's what they're doing. But you don't have to continue to keep it a secret. Be vulnerable. That's your truth. Live your truth, and that's what happened. But you do have to own up to your truth. The love that Will Smith has for her, it is selfless. I think that came because he had already experienced a bunch of hardships prior to being in a relationship with Jada. So the situations between his first child's mom and all of that probably kind of like prepared him for the things that he had probably already done. He probably felt like it was karma. But he used that age-old parable, if you love them, let them go. Well, he didn't realize that when he loved her, he loved her, so he let her go, but he didn't realize that when he let her go, she would go and do these things, and then he would have to re-love her all over again in a certain kind of way. So that's what I got out of it. It's really enlightening to see a man, and I mean, he is an amazing actor, so he could be a bit active, but I don't read that. I read genuineness in him. To show his feelings and love and support even after a tough time. You don't really see a lot of men doing that. You see more women doing it, which is like, okay, do men do this too? Like, show another man that they can be forgiving and you can love past this kind of hurt. So that's what I got out of it. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hey everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe this video. I got great words, got a good message, and I'm about to build a whole entire following, and you should be a part of it. So don't forget to hit that button.